angry, Aussie. 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 Angry, Aussie. 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 Angry.
And here we are for another week of live streams. Tuesday night, Monday night's my regular night off, but here I am on a Tuesday night saying hello to the world. Who's already in chat? Mr. Grant Gregory, Aussie ASMR, Musical Aviator, hello to all of you. So, yeah, Musical Aviator, what you said about Craig Kelly quitting the Liberal Party, that was almost what I was going to name the stream after. He's such a piece of shit. He must have heard he was going to get dumped at pre-selection because he's such a fucking liability. The funniest thing I heard is someone suggesting in a last sort of fuck you, he might join the National Party and then vote for Barnaby Joyce to be reinstated as leader. That might give Barnaby Joyce the numbers, which would be hilarious. Absolutely horrific. Barnaby Joyce being just a piece of shit, but in a very dark, macabre way, hilarious. So who knows what hilarity Craig Kelly will provide us with before he shuffles off this political coil. One can only wonder, because when you're as munted a unit as Craig Kelly is, there's literally no limit to how many shitty or stupid things you can do, because he is a stupid, shitty person. He's just the worst. He sucks so hard. Not in a good way. He's just the worst. He's just a walking, shambling mound of stupidity. And how the Liberal Party keeps finding people this fucking bad, I'll never know. But they do. Doesn't that crack you up when there's this idea of a meritocracy? Oh, the reason there aren't more women and more non-white people, it's all on merit. It's all on merit. It's like, yeah, Craig fucking Kelly is the best. It's a stupid fucking old boys club where having the right contacts is the only thing that matters. And it increasingly looks like talent and definitely integrity are just a liability. Being an idiot, thuggish oaf seems to be one of the best, or if you want to succeed in politics, being a stupid, thuggish oaf seems to be a primary requisite. Intelligence, absolutely not needed. Just seriously, who could fucking look at Craig Kelly and say, he got there on merit? Like, he's the best. I say, I love the shirt. One of my many T Fury shirts. Mash-up of Doctor Who and Where the Wild Things Are, with Matt Smith's Doctor playing the kid with the wild things. I have so many T Fury shirts, and so many of them are Doctor Who shirts. It's all good. I had them for a long time. Like, I realized, man, I don't throw stuff out. Like, I realized I've got shirts that are 10 years old that I still wear. So, trick, kids, if you're hanging your washing out on the line, T-shirts, hang them inside out, and then just the inside gets faded, not the outside. It's quite astonishing, particularly with the black T-shirts, the difference between the inside and the outside in terms of fading. Yes, join me for more household tips. Locust Trooper, what are we referring to with Scummo striking again? Because he's an ace fucking clown and keeps fucking up. Oh no, Shieldsy, your power got knocked out. Is it some sort of storm or is it just a random outage? You're on battery power. How long is that going to last? You have to trouble.
I need to get some beverages.
Okay, fair enough. Beverageino. Someone way taller than me comes in. All right. Yes. I've lost track of the things he's fucking up to, Locust Trooper. But yes, his absolute mishandling of the instances of rape and sexual assault within the Liberal Party, and the Facebook seems to be going back to normal. Like I said in the description of this, a deal struck between billionaires does not seem like something that's ultimately going to be good for you and I. Oh, shit, there's a pretty brief power outage. What's that all about? I'm fidgeting. I've got a few things to fidget with. Price sticker. Well, actually, it's just a barcode. It's not actually a price sticker. Vivacious. My insulated coffee cup is called Vivacious. So I'm making some of my clear ice. It's in there. And it's the magic thing, because this is insulated, we get directional freezing rather than the ice freezing from all directions. So the impurities are in the center like that, like you may be used to ice looking. Freezes from the top down, and it pushes the impurities down, the air bubbles and impurities, and they're the last thing to freeze. And you can just cut them off and you get this really nice clear ice. I haven't used this one for a little while. I'm not sure if the shape of it's right, quite honestly. But it's sitting over here. The live stream may be enough time to have that come out, show off my nice clear ice. Also doing a milk clarification over there. Yes. I was in my head. That is, in fact, Doctor Who. Yes. This is like a Australia joke at the moment. Just at the moment? Oh, are you chatting from your phone, Shieldsy? You're trying to get everything back together to be on an actual computer. Actually, speaking of my milk clarification, it's probably time to do a little... Yes, it's slow down. Little dripsies. Okay. Ooh, it's looking quite dark. I think if I put it through again, it'll actually... And it's also a little bit cloudy, which is the other reason I'm putting it through a second time. In we go. You little beauty. All right. That in there. That in there. A little bit drip through into here. We'll put it back in. And it's another fun thing that's happening during the live stream. I'm waiting for ice, and I'm waiting for a drink to milk clarify. So that's just for fun, because just prior to coming on, I was shooting close-up shots for my cocktail channel, and that involves recreating the cocktail. And then it's like, oh, I don't feel like drinking it now, and so I'll milk clarify it and have it later just for fun and see how the milk clarification turns out. Because it's always a bit of an adventure with milk clarification, because it really changes the flavor of the cocktail. As I like to say, the results not always fantastic, but it's always interesting. It's always interesting to see what the process does to the look and the taste of the drink. I like to explore and experiment. Justin, I haven't actually watched that video. Mrs. Angry did. She's really into it. Those who don't know what Justin's talking about, when we were watching the live landing of the Mars rover, they were just posting occasional still photos because, data takes a long time to come back from Mars. And but the rover actually had HD video running. It just took a couple of days for that to render and transmit back to Earth, and NASA have released it, and it is apparently pretty goddamn specky video. Landing on Mars in HD. You gotta love that. Fucking technology, yeah? I love it. The same people go, that's amazing. No, and they go, sorry, it sounds like I'm saying about you, Justin. But you do get people who say, that's amazing. Oh, they can do anything. You know, the same scientists are telling you to wear a fucking mask, you munter. All the anti-vax, anti-mask, COVID's a hoax fuckwits. They're all for science when it makes the lights turn on and when you get neat stuff like rovers landing on Mars. But when the same people say, hey, you know something really basic? It could really help restrict the spread of this deadly pandemic by wearing a fucking mask. And they go, what do you know? I know better. And it's like, fuck you, you fucking pieces of shit. Mr. Grant Gregory, Earth has been proven to be round for centuries with mathematics and observation, proven beyond any doubt. So if anyone is stupid enough to say the Earth is flat, literally no evidence whatsoever is going to sway them because they're fucking morons. Because they just say NASA's fake, the whole thing's fake. And yes, you absolutely could have created all that video and whatnot with CG, but they didn't. Yes, it is literally a waste of time presenting any evidence to a flat earther because their shit is so stupid, you're just wasting your breath. Oh, so it is a storm, Shieldsy. Okay. Jesus, mate. Tropical storms. You never know what's going to happen. Well, I hope you don't get flooded or blacked out again. Hopefully it's smooth sailing. You say the rain is good, is it? You need rain? Just no nasty storm damage. We want to avoid storm damage. That's a reasonable thing to want. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was watching, because the cold in America, like that really big cold, and particularly Texas had a much more severe cold snap than they're used to. It's not absolutely unheard of, but much worse than they're used to. And I was watching a video from the Whiskey Tribe, which is a really fun YouTube channel, and they have a distillery in Texas, and they did a video of going to check and see how much damage there was, because they were really worried about water pipes bursting, which had happened to a lot of people. They were worried about that sort of thing damaging their distilling equipment, and they were a little probably. They could have been confident it's okay, but still a little bit worried. They have a whiskey vault. It's got certainly hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of whiskey in it. I don't know if it cracks $1 million. I don't know if they've ever said that, but their special collection is incredibly expensive, and it would have been extremely upsetting for that to have been storm damaged. But it wasn't. But a lot of trees, because it's a nice little semi-rural setting for their distillery, and because they can have visitors, there's a bar there and whatnot. And a lot of the trees broke just because the weight of the ice on them, the trees weren't used to that. And a lot of the trees, just branches and trunks, just broke because of the weight of ice. So they've got a little bit of cleaning up to do. But yeah, it's weird what storms can do. Also, Shieldsy, the nature of the island means you can't get flooded. I don't know. You always get low. People build stupidly and have low-lying areas. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. The humidity of your tropical storm, and you didn't have a fan. I'm glad your fan came back on too. You go. I went for a walk around Broady today. Not a mask in sight, apart from the one on me. Well, guy wearing one knows it. Yeah, you're only supposed to wear them indoors at the moment. But yeah, it's you get a lot of nose outside. I forgot. I really regret not investing in a mask that said it goes over your nose. If I'd had one in the early days, I would have had a endless fun just passive aggressively stare, or maybe just aggressively staring at people, not saying anything, just staring at them with their dick nose hanging out because they annoy me so much. That's okay. Oh no, that stuff's not on. I should have actually got that out of the way. Don't you? So yeah. Excellent. Sorry, that's a new one on me. If you folk excuse me for a second, I just have to do something on Facebook. I got to do a couple things. Actually got a spam comment on Facebook, which is really weird. That's the first time that's happened. All the times on Twitch, there's bots on Twitch that go around doing spam comments on videos. But this was not a bot, I don't think, although they're probably copying and pasting. Yes. So, Mr. Gregory, guests, probably. I'm going to ease into it. Get things started and then share the link, I think. Look at the stuff. See how this is going with the... See how it's much... Well, actually, you probably don't remember, but that is much lighter than it was before. Putting it through the filter a second time. And it's very clear and much lighter. And this one, because there was red stuff in it, the old joke I make about the urine samples looking like maybe someone's got a urinary tract infection. This person's definitely a little bit of blood in their urine. They need to see a doctor. So that's it. Heaven forbid when I put blue or green stuff in there, then you don't know what's going on. Oh, Shields of Ureta got knocked out. Oh, no. Now you don't know what the storm's doing. You have to wait and see. Megaleech, hello. Good evening to you, sir. Oh, so Bomb got knocked out. Fair enough. Charles on Facebook. What looks like fertilized egg goo? My milk clarifying drink, or this? That? I think you must have meant the other one. Not quite the same viscosity as egg goo. Oh God, for a second there, I was going to check something, and then it went totally out of my little squirrel brain. And I can't remember what it was now. Oh, well. C'est la vie, we shall soldier on as the brave little soldiers we are. Shan't let that go away. No, I probably won't taste this one tonight because I've got some other ones. Might have something tonight in the second half. Ooh, nice. Been very entrepreneurial, Locust Trooper. Starting something new. Thinking out of the box. Good, being entrepreneurial and taking stuff on in these strange and uncertain times we live in. Good to see. Good to see. I continue to be very boring in my work life. But that's okay because it pays the bills. got a bit done today, helped someone, and he seemed very happy that someone had actually volunteered to help him. I was talking to a friend, and just the travails at their workplace. Basically, everyone thinks the boss is a moron and they can't work out how they got the job. And I don't just mean, grunts like me, like ground level people tend to always think the boss is a moron. But the mid-level and even slightly more senior managers think the overall boss is a moron. And they've just started saying, not saying it to the boss's face, but like sharing a room, between you, me, and the wall, they're a moron. Which is again, it's one of the things somewhere between funny and horrifying. It's kind of funny to see, but just the idea of being in a situation where everyone's sure the boss is a moron and no one can work out how they got the job is like, that's I don't know. That's not really going to make for happy times, is it? It's messing with internet, Shieldsy. Maybe local service down can't get eBay. Oh, geez. Shieldsy, you're going to be cut off, mate. Sharks are circling the island. You won't be able to get word out. Your last desperate gasp will be a text comment on this stream. Dark times, dark times. I shouldn't say things like that. Do you ever worry, like, when you say something and make a joke about something bad happening, then that bad thing might happen and then you'd feel really bad? Hey, Raiders, good evening. Like a concrete example, one that sprang to mind. If I ever think about, what's going to happen to AIDSy, I don't even want to say anything out loud in case something bad does end up happening. Like way back when he was doing the Code Grey show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and I was interviewing him and we're putting some videos up. I recorded the whole show, but also did some making of and some interviews in the lead up. And at one point I asked him the question and I said, this is a really difficult question to ask. I think it's a big question, but I feel really asking it. Like, you're not in the greatest health and running this show for a month is really stressful. What happens if, you have a collapse? And he was very philosophical in his answer. And he said it was a reasonable question to ask. I felt really awkward asking it. Because I've got, if I say, oh, what happens if you drop dead? And then he dropped dead. I'd feel bad. I would. Oh, well, as long as you can get YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Shieldy, it's all right. Locust Trooper, Lucky Country. Don't put yourself down. Still, you gave me a laugh. It's Lucky Country. Where else can a moron like me make a working business happen but here? No, dude, you're onto stuff. Self-deprecation is fine, but you're doing good. Oh, God, sorry, C Raiders, I haven't been watching the news. I know Scotty generally been fucking up. Did he actually run away from another press conference? God, he sucks. He's pathetic. He really sucks. Man, I want his complete mishandling of, all these sexual assault reports. I want that to knock him out because the Liberal Party's stupid and they'll vote for Peter Dutton for the next leader. And finally, Labor will have a chance because Dutton's absolute poison and Labor will be able to go hard on him because they were kind of scared to go hard on Scotty, when we have natural disasters and what do you call it? Pandemics, those things happening. They were going, well, we don't want to be seen to be undermining the leadership this time, but Dutton wasn't about those things. So if Dutton's there, they could just go hard on him, which would be good. Yeah, Raiders did. Every time the questions get too hard, little Scotty from marketing runs away. Who remembers Julia Gillard when the Murdoch press were just slinging all that shit at her and the Liberals were going for it? And she just stood in front of the media and said, I'm staying here till you run out of questions. And they were hard questions about, because her boyfriend, when she was working at Lawyers, was totally bent. And, she didn't, well, her defense was she didn't realize how bent he was, and she did some things to help him that in hindsight look really bad. But at the time, when you're in a relationship, they would have seemed fairly innocent. So there were some hard questions, and she just stood there and faced them. Mr. Gregory, ScoMo is the Usain Bolt of politicians who see reporters. Yes. Oh, yeah. Raiders trying to say increasing benefits by $25 a week is a huge thing. It's just like, really? $3 a day? Really? Really? Okay. Good on you. Like, if you're going to move to New Zealand, nice place to move to. Definitely where I'd go to wait out the apocalypse. Good natural resources there. But yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, so okay, I get what happened. He's trying to trumpet like, yeah, I'm permanently raising benefits by $25, which, okay, look, any raise to benefits is good. But that, $3 a day, Jesus Christ. And particularly when at the same time they're introducing all these brutal, humiliating things like, cashless welfare cards, and saying like, yeah, employers report people to God, what even is the department called again? I'm going to call it Centrelink. Is it Centrelink? I don't know. Going to report you if you don't take a job when they offer it to you, which is incidentally not a thing that happens. The number of available jobs here, number of people seeking jobs, actively seeking jobs here. So, basically any job gets a whole bunch of applications for it. So again, it's just this fucking propaganda attacking the most vulnerable people in society. And I hate them so much. Raiders, is there world-class internet in New Zealand? Good for New Zealand. I literally had no idea. It's not a thing I've ever looked at. What is New Zealand's internet like? It'd be good. Just got my things to fiddle with here. Just checking. Man, this is not melting yet. I wonder if this is actually going to come out during the live stream, or if I'll have to put it back in the freezer because I'm not staying up waiting for it. We shall have to see. Thing. What else has happened? Did I miss anything else? Let's just kind of look at news headlines and read the occasional story. Yes. Facebook is reversed the ban. Oh, good headline from ABC News. Scott Morrison won't guarantee releasing report into who knew what in his office about the sexual assaults in the Liberal Party. Craig Kelly's a fuckwit. Yep. Oh, yeah, absolute fucking morons who said, oh, we found a Tasmanian tiger. And the experts say, yeah, that looks like a wallaby. And she's like, oh, my God. Ooh, anything else? Thinking restrictions are going to ease in Victoria on Friday. Anything else interesting? COVID vaccines going around the place. There's going to be a Royal Commission into Crown Resort in Melbourne. Dun, dun, dun. They actually got new COVID cases in Auckland. See, that's freaky where it doesn't seem to be any. It's so easy for this to fucking spread. 500,000 dead in the US. I mentioned that the other day that they were going to hit that. Probably really 600,000 or 700,000 people have died from it. Ooh, that's a fun headline. Flesh-eating ulcer spreads to inner city Melbourne suburbs. Nice. Right. New Zealand's internet shits over the NBN. Man, sometimes I feel like 2 cans and a piece of string shit all over the NBN. Chris, why is the country negotiating with fucking Mark Zuckerberg? Well, because Facebook's a private company, and they don't. Chris, it's not all. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg's horrible, but this government thing is at the behest of Rupert Murdoch. I mean, out of Rupert Murdoch and Mark Zuckerberg, who's the worst? And basically, if those two can come to a deal, it's probably bad for all of us. It's neither of them can be trusted. So if they manage to come to a deal that keeps them both happy, then it's probably fucked. Charles, reckon New Zealand's a magical egalitarian utopia? I'm not sure. Not sure. Kelsey King, hello. I need to drink some water before I have a more serious adult beverage. Things to do in Melbourne. I should look at this. Maybe there's something to do in Melbourne. What's going on? What's going on? Eating. Queen Vic has a food truck. Nice. Don't think I want to go all the way into Queen Vic markets just to go to food trucks, much as I like food trucks. Because I'm going on a diet anyway. Pooches and Prosecco. That just sounds fucking gross. Another food truck thing. Art opening. Well, that's shit. That's everything that's on in Melbourne. Well, that's shit. No wonder I'm just staying at home. Celtic King, that's a good wrapping it all up. Fuck Facebook, the government, and Murdoch. Yep. That is actually it. Yeah, Chris, I mentioned it. I loved, someone did a little meme with a picture of Zuckerberg and Murdoch with like laser eyes being monstery and fighting each other. The headline, Alien versus Predator, and used the tagline from the movie, no matter who wins, we lose. That's about the size of it. Charles, you found another fun headline from Vanity Fair. Trump lashes out at Supreme Court tax return call like a man who knows prison is in his future. I think it's hilarious. Now the election's over, the Supreme Court's going like, yeah, just as a matter of law, Trump's tax returns should be handed over to investigators. And Trump going, it's Democrats, New York. And it's like, yeah, how many of the Supreme Court justices are conservative? It's more than half. And only 3 voted against it, which is probably the 3 Trump appointed. I don't know. Yeah, music over. The things, there was food trucks, and there was food trucks. There was an art gallery and the Australian Ballet, and that was it. I was like, okay. I would have thought there was more than that on, but, okay. But at least it makes me feel better about staying at home. So I've been doing things like actually went to the cinema for the first time in about a year, very close to a year, probably less than a year, but pretty fucking close. And it was a good movie too. Went and saw Promising Young Woman. It's really quite good. Revenge film. And then last night I was watching TV. I finally got around to watching, the first 3 episodes of Bridgerton on Netflix. That's what it's called. It's really funny. Really enjoyed it. It's just silly and outrageous. And it's funny. It's like really in the style of like the period dramas, but they're not really taking the piss, but they're being a bit flamboyant with it. It's good. I enjoy it. Celtic King, is Aidsy going to join us? Who knows? I have not heard from him for about a week. Probably, I think he was on last Tuesday's stream. That was the last time I heard of him. Shields, you're on 4G. It's probably faster than NBN. We get 5G, but definitely faster than NBN. Oh, you looked it up, Charles. How do you? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Gorsuch. Anyway, one of Trump's appointees voted to reveal the returns. Yes, that again, Charles. The number of judges Trump appointed in states is a bit spooky as well, because they've been doing some spooky things. So, Raiders, New Zealand is 17th best in the world for internet speeds. Australia's 50th. I thought Australia was way worse than 50th, to be honest. I think, yeah, it's only 8:30. Gorsuch, thank you. Thank you for that, Charles. Handy pronunciation guy. I'm gonna have some water. Even if having big glass of water make me pee-pee in the middle of the night, I'll survive. I'll hopefully wake up, not pee-pee in the bed. I don't pee-pee in the bed. Just thought I'd specify that. Yes, Celtic King, you do regularly express your love for AIDSy. That is true. But that's all right. That's all right. Checking him. Ooh, it's all sludgy. Oh, no, it's a little bit liquid there. So, look, I'll show you something. Can you see it? No, I can't. I'll make a mess if I tip that up. When you do milk clarification, the drink that you add to it has to have some acid content, and there's a bunch of different things that have enough acid content to make the milk curdle. Citrus juice is the easiest. This has got pineapple juice in it because the base cocktail had pineapple juice in it. And you pour your drink into the milk curdles, and you let it sit so it separates nicely, and then pouring it through a coffee filter, and the curds settle, and they actually do the hard work. The coffee paper doesn't filter out that much. Coffee paper is really just to hold it, and the curds settle, and they do the heavy work of filtering, and they filter out a lot of the color and all the sort of sharp edges, the harsher elements of the tastes in there. So, like, you can put coffee or tea in a milk clarified drink, and coffee in particular is probably acidic enough to make milk. Well, yeah, you could. Coffee might be acidic enough to make milk curdle, because if you don't stir it, you let it separate. But like, you can use quite strong coffee or quite strong tea, and you know how that has a really bitter element to it, the tannins and whatnot in there. The clarification process takes out the really sharp elements. So you could put a really strong coffee or a really strong tea in there, and the end result, you will still taste coffee or taste tea, but it'll take those harsh edges off. Raiders, you're on 4G because the quality of the connections with average 300 MIPS. Man, if I was getting 300 MIPS and it was affordable, I would be doing 4G as well. We have to wait and see what 5G looks like. Charles, yes, AZ is a lovable, absurd scamp. Well, I mean, my 4G is often better, certainly often better than Wi-Fi on NBN. Which is it at the moment? Look, I'll do a quick comparison. I won't do it on the stream because it'll probably fucking choke the stream. But what's my Wi-Fi? No, that's Wi-Fi. Oh, okay, no, that'll be the comparison. Okay, the phone on Wi-Fi gets mid-40s down, creeping up to 50, about 50 down. Oh yeah, we had a little surge, so it's about 50 down. So so if I switch off the Wi-Fi on this phone, Oh my god! I was like, what's that weird noise in the next room? Mrs. Angry is playing video games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think she's on a farm because there's a noise of a cow mooing. So, what are the speeds on 4G? Dun, dun, dun. It's going to be any good? Ooh, way worse up. Like, fucking dial-up speeds up. That's interesting. Jesus. Okay, that really sucks. And yeah, Jesus, what's with that be? It's virtually fucking dial-up speeds. I thought it was Jesus. That sucks balls. Okay, good to know. I better put my Wi-Fi back on. Those speeds are so shit. I thought 4G was better than that. I remember I worked at a university a couple of years ago, and because the big universities like Melbourne University, they're actually internet nodes, and on campus the Wi-Fi speeds were about 500 MIPS. It was mad. Charles, Canada's internet's doo-doo plats. Oh dear. Get 60 down and 4 up, while on 5G it's 500 down and 30 up. Yeah. If we get decent 5G here, I'm going to look into it. Oh yeah, Raiders definitely going to have to look at where the phone providers' towers are. Need line of sight. But if I'm saying hello, I wonder if ABC or Michael West get a deal with Google News or Facebook and MediaTek's thing. If I'm saying what happened to independent journalists? Rupert Murdoch wants them all to go away. Yeah, actually, Raiders, it's probably gigabit now. And actually, with a hard line, it's probably gigabit down. This was some goodly years ago. Is it 3, 4, 5? Somewhere 3, 4, 5 years ago. You know, time doesn't fucking mean anything. I can't even remember when I was there. 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was there. And the Wi-Fi speeds were about half a gigabit. Locust Trooper, why is NBN so bad? Because the LNP deliberately hobbled it because Rupert Murdoch told them to. If Labor's plan had been able to go through, we would be kicking ass right now. But it didn't, so we're not. We may or may not get something better in the coming years. Who fucking knows with the LNP? Kirsten, Hellion, hello to you. How's the world treating you? Fairly, I hope. Look at the difference in color. This one, because it had some red stuff in it. So it's a little bit red. And this one didn't. So it's really much more yellowy orange. They have very different contents. And this one's almost clear. It's just a very light yellow. This person's properly hydrated. This person's got a urinary tract infection. Blood in their pee. Wow, right. You got 900 MIPS on 5G. That's pretty wild. My first time, if the news website's good enough, they can survive in the free market along with the other independent journalists. Ugh. Yes, I get that you're being sarcastic, but that's the sort of shit they say. Locust Trooper, would Labor give us better internet? Maybe, maybe not. Who fucking knows? Nice fish and chips for dinner. That actually makes for a pretty good evening. Oh, you only separated from husband 4 more days. Who's traveling this time? Charles, the red one looks like your last dye job. Nice. Oh, yes. Mofo, sign that scam of giving Sky News money. The government giving our tax money to Sky News was fucked. Chris, I don't think independent news in Australia will be affected by this deal. It will just continue to fade away because it's being destroyed by, oh, he's coming to Sydney. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Taking it in turns. That's nice. Gotta clean the house, make it pretty. I imagine the temptation of being by yourself, just letting everything slide a bit. Locust Trooper, why is Australian news so fuck, mate? It's not Australia, mate. Yeah, look at the UK. I can only really judge English-speaking countries. America is worse, so much worse. The tabloids in England are worse. It's just because the media is dominated by a tiny number of companies. We used to have laws that forced media diversity, but the fucking neoliberals progressively wound that back to literally everybody's detriment. It was a terrible mistake. Shieldsy, technology problems with storms, mate. It's not good. Charles, so it's fucked in Canada. It's fucked back home in Trinidad. All right. Were you in the Charles? Were you in the live stream on Friday night? I made a cocktail that had a stupid pun name, and I love stupid pun names. The stupider, the more I like them. And I've just been editing the video to go up on my cocktail channel later this week because it had a lot of this Angostura bitters, product of Trinidad and Tobago, the world's favorite bitters. Had instead, normally you just put like a couple of dashes of bitters in a drink. This one had 45 mils or 1.5 ounces or approximately 100 dashes. And it was called You're Not My Real Trinidad. And that was dumb as hell, and I love it, so I made it. I was pretty sure you were high on Friday. Oh, Locust Trooper, mate, you are spot on. Sky News, quality people. Like when they complained about politically correct ABC doing a sort of travel doco thing inspired by Captain Cook, and how dare they use Bruce Pascoe on there. Typical ABC, except it wasn't ABC. It was a Foxtel produced show that it was getting a run on the ABC. It was originally on Foxtel. And they sit there going, bloody ABC, fact check. And it was just like, that was your boss. That was Foxtel who made that. You fucking idiots. And it's just ridiculous. Charles just snorted at me. I loved it. I was looking at various things, and there'd been some discussion about drinks with lots of bitters in them, like a shot or two of bitters in them. And I found a list, and I was looking at, and one was called "You're Not My Real Trinidad," and I went, "Fuck me, I'm making that." That appeals to my stupid sense of humor so much. And yes, Mofo signed the Lander on Mars is definitely cool. The blights or the brights on Sky, they kind of suck. Chris, Sky News was the news source in the movie Independence Day with Will Smith. There you go. I know that. So, yes, Sky was originally in the UK, and then Murdoch had a version of it here, and no one fucking watches it, right? No one watches it. It's got a tiny audience. The only people who watch it are politicians and some of the journos to comment on it. They've got such a small audience. They desperately want to be Fox News, but they've got no audience. It's ridiculous. Charles, okay, the drink. It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. Executive Quest tuned in via Harbour Wi-Fi. Speed's okay since the other pirates went to bed. Nice. I'll actually. I think it was on Difford's Guide. I'll just double check so you can get the recipe easily. You're not my real Trinidad. No, okay, maybe it was on liquor.com. It was on one of the big ones, either. Okay, if I look up Angostura. Trinidad Sour, yeah. Okay, again, I'm just going to do Google search. You're not my real Trinidad. Oh, it was on Difford's Guide. Why didn't that show up when I searched it? Bloody hell. What's wrong with you? Okay, so You're Not My Real Trinidad is 1.5 shots of Angostura, half a shot of sherry, 1.5 shots of cream of coconut, 2 shots of pineapple juice, and 1 shot of lime juice. It's pretty interesting. Well, yeah, I was about to say that much bitters makes it pretty fucking boozy because bitters is 40-odd%. Raiders, I think UK Sky might be less far right because Australia Sky is desperately trying to be Fox News and just saying the most ridiculous brain dead shit all the time. My first line, better urban design to keep bicycles and cars away from each other. Yeah, until recently, there really hasn't been much thought of bikes and urban design, which is stupid. Megaleech, whose rating is that for the Sky News in the UK? Least biased and high factual, which is interesting. Right, who are media bias check? Now I want to look that up. Media bias check. Jesus Christ, their website's fucking ugly. Media bias fact check. Was that it? Jesus fucking Christ, this website's a fucking disaster. I'm not sure it's the one you used, Megaleech. Sky News Australia, moderately to strongly biased. ABC Australia has a slight to moderate liberal bias. Yeah, I'd say very fucking slight. Daily Telegraph, moderately to strongly conservative. I reckon Bloomberg is left center. Jesus. Okay, maybe it was the site you used. Oh, yeah, okay. It was the right site. As ugly and fucking pop-up ads and fucked. Okay, Charles Heen, you want it? National Post Canada. Let me, I'll bring it back up. I just closed it. MediaBiasFactCheck.com. Search. So what are we going to say? National Post Canada. National Post Canada. What did we find? Financial Post is right center biased. National Post is right-center bias. They they often publish factual information that utilizes loaded words. They reckon they're high for factual reporting due to proper sourcing and a clean fact check record, but they bias towards the right by using language designed to influence the audience by using appeals to emotion or stereotypes. There you go. And the fridge is singing the song of its people. Why not? My first one, yes, political staffers definitely need better working rights. Ashoka, Rupert Murdoch's losing billions, and media generally losing billions. Are you reckon Trump pushed Bloomberg to the left? Because it is actually owned by Mike Bloomberg, I think. I think he still owns a controlling stake in it. Yeah, in fact, Charles, that site rated that National Post as less biased than the Murdoch tabloids we have here in Australia. So apparently, if you think they're bad, you should get a fucking load of the Murdoch tabloids we have. Like a stripper, I have no idea what Friendly Geordie has been up to. He doesn't seem to have been creating too much controversy lately because I haven't seen people kind of losing their shit on Twitter or Facebook. Let's look what he's been doing. Just bring up YouTube. Where are we? See if I can find him on YouTube. I should, literally just search, shouldn't I? Because he normally pops up because I watched some of his videos, so it'll pop up and say, well, you've watched him before. You want to watch him again? I think he hasn't put anything out for a while. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's search for Friendly Geordies. Oh, no, he's okay. His last one was attacking Scummo. I don't know exactly what cause of beans. I did see a bit of the one he did a while ago. Facebook obliterates Australian media because there's a funny thing. He was one of the few opinion sites on Facebook that didn't get caught up in the news, which was pretty funny. Didn't get banned. And so I did see. So he's basically saying he thinks it's funny that Facebook was shitting on Australian media. So yeah. Hey Annette, how are you doing? Okay, Megaleech, it does seem like they're pretty accurate on media bias check. One American network, extremely right-wing, low factual. Okay, Charles. So, yeah, it does seem that National Post has a definite bias to the right, but this checker says they do have they pass most fact checking. Was my ice cracking? Oh, that's really trippy. It's like I've got a shell listening to the ocean, but there's this crackling noise. The ice is cracking. Huh? Oh, well. Ashoka, good question. Who's worse, Zuckerberg or Murdoch? Basically Murdoch. But Zuckerberg sucks. That's like, who's worse, a Nazi or a child molester? They're both fucking awful. Why should I rank them? Rebel News. I think I did see Rebel News Raiders. And they were like, very okay. I've got to bring it back because I keep closing it. Maybe I'll just keep it open. We just want to keep checking. So search Rebel News. Results for right bias, moderate to strong bias towards conservative causes. What do they get for accuracy? Yeah, they've got them fairly extreme on the right. Publish misleading reports and omit reporting of information that may damage conservative causes. Some sources in this category may be untrustworthy. So overall, we rate Rebel right biased, mixed for factual reporting due to poor sourcing and consistent one side. So extremely right wing and very biased. That might be what the booze. It's saying, put some alcohol on us. We want alcohol on us. You're leading me astray, Ice. But who am I to argue? That's right, Raiders. Buddy, Little Avi works for Rebel News. Yes. Speaking of biased and untrustworthy and unsafe to be around. Wow, this seems like this has not melted at all. Wild. Okay, still an hour to go. It might come out. Yes, Annette, I'm blaming the ice. The ice is talking to me. A little bit of ASMR there. Finish that one off because I had half of it the other day. Like those little sample bottles. What were you saying about... Oh, sorry. I'm looking at things people said about French. Yes, I actually did see that weird one where he's highlighting Craig Kelly has this obsession with praising Azerbaijan, which is really weird. My first son is Friendly George is best described as left-wing shock jock. Kinda. That's not bad. He preaches. He's bizarrely pro-labor, and he's like, he sort of comes across as pro-union right wing of the Labour Party, but he's pro-environment as well, which is regarded as a bit soft by some people. And so, as I said before, there's obviously a huge crossover in my views and his views. There's also divergence, but he's yeah, I mean, he would definitely. Or actually, he's one of those people who says things like the left-right dichotomy is false, and to me, that's just semantics. It's literally just semantics. But you know, if you're into arguing semantics, you can do that. I feel like I should put this on full stereo and then sort of go around it making squeaky cork noises. It'd be weird for anyone with headphones on. Oh, yeah. As I tell you, milk clarifying cocktails is always interesting. Remember, that's whiskey and rum, mostly. This one's Scotch. It's got Scotch. What else has it got in it? Orange liqueur, cherry brandy. It's probably really sweet. I haven't tasted it yet. Cherry brandy, and orange curacao, and pineapple juice. So it's probably quite sweet. Locust Trooper, is Friendly Geordies a true lefty? Well, he'd say no. Like I said, he rejects that. He definitely hates the Liberal Party, though. But yeah, he's pro-union, pro-environment, very anti. He's very anti-conservative. Except he has a bunch of conservative fans because he shits on feminists. In fact, there's a really weird crossover with him and Avi Yemeni when he was rightly ripping into Avi Yemeni on Twitter at one point, because Avi Yemeni is a fucking piece of shit. A bunch of Friendly Geordies fans were quite upset that he was picking on Avi Yemeni because they like Avi Yemeni. But anyway. Raiders, yes, I think he has a relatively young demographic. I think you're right there. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that Perseverance video earlier, MoFaceline. Pretty cool stuff. WND has the lowest score you've seen yet for news. Who is WND? I don't know who that is. Oh, sorry, Charles. Okay. Who's obnoxious right-wing people who go around sticking cameras in people's faces and putting it on YouTube and saying they're journalists in your neck of the woods? You know, it's like people in America, it springs to mind like Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro. Avi Yemeni is an Australian who wishes he had their profile, and he is getting money from some of these right-wing fuckheads to do. Oh, WorldNet Daily. Cool. So Avi Yemeni's actually getting money from these right-wing types to be an obnoxious prick in Australia. He was recently convicted for violence against his former partner. So it's a fun way that people... Oh, there you go, Faith Goldie. That's another one, Charles. Another one of them. So that's what Avi Yemeni is. He threw things at his ex-partner's head and was convicted in court. And so it's a fun way people shut him down when he's doing his dumb shit. And he really seems to like harassing children at left-wing protests. But people tend to surround him and just start shouting things about his domestic violence convictions and little song they sing, "Where's your chopping board, Avi?" Charles, you Googled Mr. Yemeni, he's a Jimbro. Yeah, Jimbro is obnoxiously right-brain. I think he did national service in Israel. And I think he's even shorter than me, and he's got this little man syndrome going on. Locust Trooper, South Africa. Oh, yeah. No, you told me about that channel, which seems weird and fucked up. Lots of weird and fucked up people in the world who then go and put their weird and fucked up attitudes on the internet. It's a thing that seems to happen. Hello, Fix-It Dude. Yeah, Charles, it doesn't go the harassing children doesn't go too well for him in Australia anymore. He almost always ends up being escorted away by the police, sometimes arrested, because the police are just sick of his shit and they know he's a shit stirrer and he's trying to cause trouble. And the fact that he has convictions for violence and he has an unsettling tendency to focus on children at like environment rallies and whatnot. Very fucking creepy shit. Oh no, and then what are your cats doing? Did they bring another rat in? Raiders, owned a gym. You report his ASIC discrepancies. Nice. Holy shit, Annette, you went out the kitchen to step in a murdered pigeon's carcass. God damn. Your cats are on a fucking tear this week. They're murder machines. My cats are too old. Again, it's not that long ago I did find a a dead baby, and fortunately not dismembered, but a dead baby rat in the hallway. So one of them had brought it in. Oh my God. Cats, eh? You know, I wish that no one had ever introduced any foreign animals into Australia. So, I suppose you'd want horses. In the early days of settlement, you'd want horses. But I just wish, like, people had worked out, like, no, you could actually farm native animals for meat and domesticate. It would be so much cooler if instead of like common house cats, we had quolls as pets. And if you know what that is, go look them up. They're so cool. Marsupial, that's sometimes referred to as a native cat. It's a quoll, little meat eaters. They're little beasts. They're cool. Yeah, fix it, dude. Literally millions of feral cats running around Australia. Very bad. The Locust Trooper, that's a Penza guy's just always begging for money on Patreon. Yeah. Social media has made beggars out of people. Wonder, honestly, the people who crowdfund stuff and whatnot, wonder if they give money to beggars on the street. I always wondered that. Oh, Annette, you want a quoll as a pet? Yep. No, quolls are so fucking cool. We'd be so much better off if cats were never introduced and we had quolls as pets. So, fix it, dude. You're in South Australia. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the ferals are a huge fucking problem in Australia. Cats, feral dogs to a lesser extent, but foxes, rabbits, pigs, all real fucking bad. No, how you going? Well, on birds or pigeons, yes, and then at least your cat's killed a pigeon, not a native. But if we didn't have introduced birds of pigeons and starlings and sparrows and shit, that'd be good. Oh, yes, raiders, bilbies as pets as well, replacing the Easter Bunny. Oh, yes, Megalich, how cool would it be having quokkas as pets? Yes. And Charles, quolls are adorable murder machines. I saw them at a nature reserve once, and they're feeding them because quolls are scavengers. I think they might hunt small things, but they're meat eaters, and they're just like these cute little things, but with these really pointy teeth, and they're like tearing into this meat they've been given. It was pretty funny. Oh yeah, Raiders feral pigs are fucked. Shoko, it's true. You can milk a horse. Don't think you can. Okay, milk would not be a thing if we didn't do it. Yeah, because I don't think that you can. I don't think you can productively milk any animal. Like you can technically milk any mammal, but I don't think you can productively milk any marsupials. Raiders, yes, I have watched a Tassie Devil eat when I was in Tasmania at a little nature reserve. They did the thing; they got that big fucking, not as much as the thylacine, the tiger, but they got these big mouths, really, really strong jaws, and yes, bone-crushing jaws in it. They're very cute with bone-crushing jaws, and they're big. They're fucking surly things. Like the physique of the Warner Brothers cartoon Tasmanian Devil is not that far off the physique of the real Tasmanian Devils. They were like really big in the shoulders and they were small in the back legs. Weird. Charles, your high school band director had dingoes. They were right. So insanely smart, shockingly well behaved. Dingoes are also really beautiful dogs. They are very, very beautiful dogs. And yes, Indigenous Australians kept dingoes at camps as well. They're very good. Fix it, dude. Having weird Ren and Stimpy flashbacks of Togwater. Oh no. I think, Raiders, that might have been the same one I went to, the nature reserve near Cradle Mountain. Yeah. Tassie Devils, just with those big jaws, just crushing bones when they're fed, because they're mostly scavengers as well. I think they're capable of hunting, but they're mostly scavengers. Locust Trooper, I mean, it was a cool breeze. Wouldn't call today cold. It's about 20 all this week, isn't it? Went for a walk in the afternoon. It was nice. We're going to get rain tomorrow. Looks like we're getting rain overnight. Maybe. Yeah, it's 20s from now on. 20s. Oh, geez, not much rain if we get any. Weird old weather. We had, 30s for a week. Now it's 20s. All right. Easing out of summer. But we tend to get at least occasional nice days right through April. But you start to get, maybe in March, you get 1 or 2 days that are a premonition of winter. And in April, it starts getting cooler, but you still get a couple nice days. And then in May, it's kind of like, nice days are gone. So if you do get a 20-something day in May, it feels really good. Shieldsy, 100% stuck on 4G. Internet go bye-bye in the storm. I wonder what you were talking about. And what I thought there, you could mistake the young ones for puppies. All that popped into my head was that old comedy series, The Young Ones. Which one of them were puppies? No, you meant young Tassie Devils. Yes. They're very cute, but possibly quite dangerous. And they're into biting. So I don't think you want to get bitten by a Tasmania Devil. They have very strong jaws. I said, you have a nice little Indigenous calendar for the seasons. According to that, March is still summer. Probably depends where you are. What's my season, Locust Trooper? I'm like spring or late summer. I like mid-20s. 24 to 27, sunny with a bit of breeze is my perfect sort of day. I don't like it if it's colder, and I don't like it if it's hotter. I'm Mr. Mild, basically. Like if it's sunny, 23 to 27, light breeze, that's about perfect for me. But variety is the spice of life. You get fucking hot days, you get cold days. Your calendar's for Victoria. See, I remember when I went up to Darwin. As one of the centers, they're talking about how the local people, because at Darwin, the white people just say there's only 2 seasons, wet and dry. Yet the native people, I think they had 8 seasons, because they're really about storms approaching, storms coming, and they really broke the year up into the weather patterns. So yeah, it varies a lot around the country. Oh my God, Shields, you've been going up and down the stairs to reboot the NBN modem and it's not working. Dude, you're getting a bit of a workout at least. Megaleech, because you're in Tasmania. So 18 to 21 is what you're like. Okay. Locust Trooper, you're a winter person. You like the same temperatures as Megaleech. But winter here is like 10 to 15. And we do Angry Bunch. Look, okay, some people asked me before about Angry Bunch. And times run. Look, I'm going to do Angry Bunch. Why the hell not? Okay. Who wants to do Angry Bunch? I'm going to put a link. Right. So anyone who wants to join, there is the link. So, yeah. Oh, man. For some reason, this clarified cocktail I had, it tastes better this time than last time I had it. Maybe it's had time to mature. I don't know. Fix it, dude. You like desert weather. Nice. Well, if you go to the northern part of South Australia, major fucking desert weather up there, being desert and all. Yeah, like a stripper, but those days are pretty rare. Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
My existential dread.
How's Canada treating you?
Everything's melting, but tomorrow is supposed to freeze again. Everything's going to be an ice skating rink.
I was about to say that's the worst, isn't it? A slight melt and then the refreeze, and then everything's really slippery. And you froze with a nice smile on your face. Okay.
Everything back? My internet just shut. Guess a little fuck.
Okay, Nettie's joining us. Oh,
Hello,
no, you're
Matthew.
back. So,
Hi,
Nettie, you were going to
guys.
show us a calendar.
Yeah, I got it. Here it is.
Oh, that's nice. I like the design.
It's really pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a bit naughty. The lady didn't have any more left printed out to sell, so I just printed it out anyway.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
And so it says late January to March, this is the burning season when the foothill forests quietly shimmer in the heat of late summer, with flies buzzing and cicadas calling as leaf litter and branches crunch loudly underfoot. Super swifts arrive from Siberia, young skinks hatch from communal nests, copperhead snakes hunt skinks and frogs.
It's very poetic. I like that.
Yeah, I think an artist who's not Indigenous
Yeah.
sort of translated an Indigenous lore about it. So
Okay.
yeah, and it makes sense to me because it seems to me that summer stretches into March, definitely.
Oh
You know?
yeah, definitely. I mean,
Grass.
officially it's the end of February, but it definitely stretches. And again, I think it's climate change. We used to always get some nice days in April. Now we get some nice days like mid-20s in May. Is a bit
Yeah, that's
scary.
weird.
Because
Yeah.
it's meant to be getting colder in May.
When I first came to Melbourne, I lived in Yarraville, and I remember coming out of my house on this freezing cold day, and it was gently raining, and I felt the rain on my hands. I'm just like, how is this not snow? It's incredibly cold. What the fuck is going on here? Where have I moved to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how does it not snow in Melbourne? It gets cold enough, surely. That's what it felt like.
It's got something to do with the humidity and wind and temperature. But it's definitely cold enough in Melbourne to snow, but it never does. And I think it's less likely to snow because we're near the. I don't know. I don't know what the intricacies of it are, but it's very rare.
Yeah, I think I've heard someone say that it's got something to do with the humidity. Yeah. Otherwise, it would snow.
Yeah.
But this has 6 seasons, not 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Last time I went to England, I experienced sleet for the first time. And it's like wet snow. It's not hail, but it freezes, but it's not soft and fluffy like snow. It's this gross soft ice, and it lands on you, and it's so fucking cold, and it makes the ground so slippery. And it's walking through the street. It's a slushy. It's like a slushy falling from the sky. And we're walking through this cute little village where Mrs. Angry's mum lived, and I'm going, what is this? And she's going, oh, this is sleet. And I'm like, oh, I'd always wondered what sleet was. This is gross.
Sleet is a personal favorite hatred of mine because it's like, oh, here's rain, but it hurts.
Yeah. Okay, I bet you get sleet all the time. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. That shit.
Yeah, no,
I just couldn't believe how cold the rain was. Like, you just don't get it in up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It occasionally Melbourne gets occasionally a little bit brutal in winter, and you really feel it because you go south. South of Victoria, you got Tasmania, and then Antarctica. There's nothing. So if a weather pattern can come up from Antarctica with nothing to interrupt it and just come in off the ocean. And it's just like, oh my God.
That's why I wasn't too worried about the lockdown last year. I was like,
Yeah.
You mean I get to spend the whole winter inside? Yes.
Yep. Oh, see, I'm with you. I was talking to someone the other day who wanted the lockdown to be in summer, not winter. And I was going, what's wrong with you? Just an excuse to stay inside all winter? That's great.
Yeah, we had our lockdown during summer, and I was just like, oh, the beautiful. Why?
Right, yeah, no, it sucks. Oh, I just Kirsten saying Old Young's Distillery in WA has a gin called Six Seasons based on the Noongar calendar. So there you go.
Good on them.
I do.
Oh,
I
love
do.
it.
Yeah.
I love that Australian distilleries have fully embraced the native the native flavors and seasons. It's just wonderful.
Yep. Exactly what I was going to say. I mean, I just like Australian spirits and liqueurs, but so many of the distillers, they're exploring native botanicals, native flavors. They're really serious about being sustainable. And even like, Starwood have the thing, we won't use anything that's more than a day's drive away. So even their barrels and whatnot, the ingredients and everything, because they want to be sustainable. They don't want to use too much energy, which I love it. Sarford joining us for a bit. You are, buddy. We're here for half an hour. Shieldsy would be a dumb Aussie in snow. Go out in your undies.
Shieldsy, just go to a Nordic country or come to Canada. We've got a big Nordic community. We do that shit all the time, minus the undies.
Yeah.
There's always New Zealand too. It's a bit closer.
I think I saw a video. It was of I didn't know who it was, but I think it was a well-known sportsman, and he did thing. He's down in his jocks, and it was like, I don't know, like 2 foot of snow outside, and he just ran out his back door into the yard and went woo, and dived into the snow. And he's just covered in snow, and then ran back inside.
See, the thing that doesn't suck about snow is that if you have a sauna and then you do that, it's like the most refreshing thing ever, and it's better than coffee for waking your ass up.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, they do that.
And jump in a spa or sauna. Man.
Yeah, oh, it's epic.
My buddy who lives in Sydney, he was brought up by Finnish people. Partially brought up by Finnish people, so he knows about saunas and running about in the snow. He said that it's really good for your I can't remember which way it pushes the blood, if it's through the kidneys or through the
pushes it somewhere.
It pushes it through one of your organs, and it's you know how it is. If it hurts, it's good for you. So that's they love it. It's invigorating, and also vodka. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Kirsten. Sorry, Charlie, go.
Okay, so good friends of mine have a fully winterized cottage about 5 hours north of here on a lake, and they will cut holes in the ice so we can sauna and then fully submerge.
Jump into the lake. Oh my god!
And then it's the fastest sprint. I will bolt my ass back into that.
Oh my god! That's wild. The closest I've come to that is when I was in New Zealand a couple of years ago. Mrs. and Angry and I had a holiday in New Zealand. One of the campsites, there was a lake, dam, whatever you want to call it, and the water was coming like straight off the mountains. So it was like it was melted snow, right? And we were looking at it, and Mrs. Angry going like, "Let's go in for a swim." And I'm going, I think this is going to be really cold. And she's going, no, it'll be cool. Let's do it. And so for some reason, I went in first, and it got deep really quickly. Like for about a meter, it was slowly getting deeper, and then it just dropped off. Really deep. And I went in and I sank, and it was so cold, like the breath just got sucked out of me. And I'm like, and got out and going, oh my God, that's cold. That's so cold. Like it's as cold as water can get without being frozen. And I'm just going, that's so cold. Give me that. And I said, your turn. And she went, no, you made it look really bad. I'm not doing it. And
blame her.
Oh, you
I can't
evil,
handle
evil
it. I have a hard enough time getting into a normal swimming pool with a little bit of solar heating, you know.
This was like
I'm always worried that my boobs are going to fall off and suddenly go rock hard. You know?
No, everything in me just like contracted and shrank. Let's say, it's like ah. But that was a dirty trick, convincing me to go in and then saying, "No, you made it sound too cold. I'm not going in." And it's just like, oh. Back on the distillery talk, Safa's saying there's a place in Yakandana called Blackwoods. You should check them out. Kirsten knows it, and she says yes, they do. They got an award for their rye whiskey.
Ooh.
Sounds like a winner.
A new whiskey. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah. Oh, Kirsten, your amazing botanicals for an exciting batch. Is that's work? I assume. You're not setting up a distillery in your own home. I assume that's a work one.
I wouldn't put it past her.
That's why I'm asking, because maybe she's doing something at home. Ashoka says snow rarely settles at sea level. Hobart snows once every 15 years. Where I went to uni with AIDSy, Bathurst, just across the mountains west of Sydney. So it's at a high enough altitude it can snow. It doesn't often settle, but it's like it didn't snow my first year. I was there 4 years. Didn't snow my first year, but it did snow all the subsequent years. So, and it's just cold when it's snowing. You're in the mountains, it's cold. And I think might have been in my third year, the first time it snowed that winter. It had been a weird day because it had been sunny and it wasn't that bad. And there's a prison in Bathurst, the Bathurst jail. I'd been in visiting someone.
Notorious.
I wasn't wearing warm clothes because it was reasonably okay when I went in, but I was inside for a couple of hours and the weather turned when I was inside and my clothes were nowhere near warm enough and the snow came in. I'm like, oh my God. And I have to go, I've got a lecture. Jesus, I can't even go home to get warm clothes. And so I went to the uni and I'm getting out of my car and I'm just going, this sucks. And it's snowing. And most of the students at this uni were from Sydney, and it never snows in Sydney. So they're all dancing around, being excited. Look at the snow! And it's grumpy me, just like this, walking through them, going, "Get out of the fucking moron!"
I'm from fucking Dubbo.
I love the difference in feelings of temperature because here in winter, it's not that cold when it's snowing because it doesn't snow below like -10, and so when you're sitting at like -25. And he's like, oh my God, it's going to snow. It's going to be warm. I can maybe wear only one parka.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember working with Canadians and then basically saying, oh, no, it gets like -30, -40 in a bad winter. And they said, but the plus side, after about -20, you can't tell. Your body can't tell that it's any colder than that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just
a friend of mine said that about because he went to China to do some field work, and he came back with this incredibly puffy coat. And I asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, around about -20. There's like the human body just doesn't care anymore. Just stops counting, stops keeping score."
The way I describe it to people not familiar with it is your bits can only recede so far into your body before they go, fuck it.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, so I've been watching American Gods, the TV series based on.
Oh, that's so good.
Fantastic show.
And the character in that, Shadow Moon, was he's like a New York person's idea of cold weather clothes, and he's visiting this town that's like up near the Canadian border in the middle of winter, and he's just like, and the people are just going, you are not dressed appropriately. What are you wearing?
Safa, Russians don't experience many things other than vodka, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yes, Safa saying Russians don't feel the cold. It's the vodka that dulls it all. I think. Yeah.
I went to school with Russians. You motherfuckers are crazy because y'all will show up in -30 weather in shorts. A parka in shorts. Get the fuck out of here.
Have you ever seen
Oh.
Aussie Man's videos? Some of
Yes.
his best videos are from Russia with Russian housemates falling downstairs and,
Oh,
you know,
shit.
doing the drunken Olympics. Shoot back the vodka, off we go.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Russian dash
some of them are
cam
great.
footage is my favorite because it's so weird. It's not just car accidents; it's weird stuff. You know, tanks suddenly going across the road, or not all the people trying to do insurance fraud and stepping out in front of vehicles, and then when the car stops, they still like throw themselves on the bonnet of the car, like, "Oh, you hit me!" And the person. My favorite one was the car stopped, and this person threw themselves on the car anyway, going, "Oh, you hit me!" And the driver's got the shit so bad, he steps out, drags them off his bonnet, and beats the shit out of them. And it's all on camera. He's just beating them.
Not another one of these ones.
Yeah.
Now this is the weird influence that the internet exerted upon my firstborn when she discovered Russia through the internet, and she actually like taught herself things like how to read Cyrillic and how to say a few things in Russian.
Yeah.
And then she started to do this thing called the Slav squat. I'm like, what are you
Oh
doing?
yeah, the slab squatting in tracksuits. That's the
Yeah.
slab squatting in tracksuits.
No, you
Yeah.
did it right when you can line up your Adidas when you can line up your Adidas stripes with your shoes.
Yes.
Oh.
That's the proper one. And Kirsten proudly saying Archie Rose picked up Australia's best rye whiskey again and best single malt. I got the rye malt because it got the wing, but the single malt too. Ooh. So I'll have to drink some of my other Australian whiskey and then see what's what.
Hey, I had some of that slow gin from Patient Wolf.
Yes.
I used it in a violet fizz, which is gin, parfait, you know, the purple one from Vogue, and lemonade, I think. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so amazingly delicious and just so fruity tasting. Oh, it was amazing. It looked terrible. It looked khaki. It's the wrong color. Okay. Just don't look at it. Just drink it.
Yeah. Well, I took the advice of our man from the Patient Wolf Distillery, made one that was half slow gin, half whiskey, and topped with soda. He didn't say top it with soda, but I topped it with soda to make a fancy drink, and God, it was good. Like gin and whiskey.
You know what? I might go do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be back. And I'll put myself on mute. Yep.
All right. Yeah, gin and whiskey together sounded weird, but it was so good.
Anytime you mention gin, my body just goes, "Oh yes, that time we died."
Yes, we're all alcoholics here, Charlie. It's just like,
I'm reformed, but that's mostly because alcohol's expensive and weed is cheap.
That's fair. That's absolutely. Stella, hello, good evening. Lovely to see you. For the homeward stretch. I don't know if you're home or working late or whatever. I'm gonna have to look into. I got to empty a few bottles and then buy some replacements. All buying local. It's Kirsten's turned me into such a snob. It's hilarious. Like people are going like, we're talking about gins and they just get, a standard gin, which is fine. Everyone drinks it like Gordon's gin or something. And they go like, okay, it's Gordon's. And I go, oh, have you? That's nice. Good.
It's like me with rums.
Yeah.
Bacardi.
Oh my God.
Adequate.
Yes. Yeah, no, I will. Yeah, no, that's me as well. I've got like 8 rums over there, which I never thought I would, but I just started getting really different rums, and it's good.
If you can get some from like Angostura, like a good 13-year-old 1919, that is a beautiful rum. And if you let the ice melt into it, it brings out a lot of very vanilla and other notes. It's a very nice rum, and the recipe itself is from 1919. And
Mhm.
if you have the money, you can actually get some from that was actually cast in 1919.
Oh,
And
damn. Oh, that
the
had set you
reason they
back.
have this is because it was just sitting in an unused corner of the distillery for almost 100 years when they were cleaning out their casks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there just happens to be 100-year-old rum, these motherfuckers. Let's do this. Let's go.
Just imagine them finding it down the back and going, "Oh, check it out."
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's great. That is
Uh,
great.
Also,
Yeah.
Safa, Russians are like many heavy drinking countries. We don't, and heavy drinkers, we don't so much have a liver as we have a distillery just kind of built in.
Yeah, just to process everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I've got a real mix of rums. I've got a couple of Australian rums, got one Cuban.
Ooh, Havana.
I'll show you that. I got it just because it was Cuban, actually, so I could boast to Americans who aren't allowed to have Cuban rums. This one,
Oh,
Santa Cima Trinidad de Cuba. It's quite nice.
oh. Okay, see, if someone pulls it, I have friends that have that, and if they pull out a bottle of it, I will have a glass because it's just
Yeah.
really fucking good, just on its own straight up.
Yeah, it's a 15-year-old. It's quite nice. I think it's the one I really like the smell of. Oh yeah, it's got that sort of overripe fruit sort of funk going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's
A
nice.
deep caramel, a little bit of
Yeah, the real. You can tell like this is definitely a molasses space drink. This has got that sweetness and the whatnot. But I
Mhm.
mean, I've got some plans. It's mostly sourced from.
Well,
Hello.
Oh, look at the puppy! Aw.
Where's this one from?
here you go.
Wait,
I think my firstborn has been harassing her a bit too much. She's looking a bit shy. A little bit worn out from it all.
A little bit stressed.
Oh, okay, off you go then.
Yeah. So I've got the plantation stuff, which is sourced from like the Caribbean, but is actually bottled in France. And I think I've got some from South America as well. But yeah, so it's from a few. My rums come from all over, but
Nice.
Safa's boasting he's not a heavy drinker, even though he's half Aussie, half Russian, which is too notorious.
Not being a heavy drinker, having that background. Are you sure you're not breaking the law or something?
Sorry, what was that, Charlie?
I'm sorry. If you have that combination of a background and you're not a drinker, are you sure you're not breaking like some kind of cosmic law?
That's a good question. I think you're going to be an outcast.
Imagine
It's like
if there
being
was
a Canadian and being a
Scottish
pothead.
as well.
Sorry, I didn't hear either of you. What did you say,
Nettie?
Nettie? Or what did you say?
I just said, imagine if there was Scottish in there as well.
Ooh, yes.
Yep. And as for it, it's like being Canadian and being a pothead. Which just assume you do way too much of that shit. As I look at the collection I have.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 'cause- yeah. When I grew up, I didn't drink alcohol at all, which is very unusual for like the country town where I grew up, and so it got me all sorts of funny looks and whatnot. And it's like, I don't know, just not drinking alcohol, and now I do. So yeah, there you go. Safa's part Mongol as well. There you go.
Nice.
Oh, excellent.
Like Lee's doing the alcohol math out here. Getting that good shit.
Megaleech reckons the reason Safa's not a heavy drinker is the two negatives make a positive. The Aussie cancels out the Russian. So the Aussie drinking cancels out the Russian drinking. You end up with no serious drinking. So
Why don't you join the stream? It's fun. We've clearly got a bunch of
Have you
quick-witted
ever seen-
people.
Charlie, have you ever seen a Darwin stubby?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's enormous. It's like this big, but it's in the shape of proper
Yes,
like the
stubby.
stubby-
for about this
Yeah,
big.
where they had like the really short neck, so you couldn't bottle
Yeah.
someone with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so that you couldn't.
we call the little bottle stubbies. The Darwin stubbies, I think 1.5 liters, or
Mm.
it's
That
huge.
much.
Same shape bottle, but huge. And it's the joke is, that's a single serving drink in Darwin. So
Oh god.
However, if you're from Western Australia, you just get a long neck and hold it like a stubby all day. Just that's how you drink.
yeah,
I found that out from my ex.
yeah. New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland is mostly cans. People drink cans. But yeah, WA's home of the long neck. It's
Yeah,
and they're about a 700 ml bottle, I think.
yeah, 750. I think. Mm.
Like 2 stubbies, but hey, what the heck? It's just one bottle. So
Yeah, they just stand around drinking it like it was just a normal one.
yeah,
Just a little.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember people getting wild with alcohol because I used to as well. I remember being at a party where we're like, "Hey, let's play beer pong," but we don't have any beer. That's okay. We'll use Alcool. What is Alcool? Alcool is a 92% alcohol.
Oh no.
Yes, we did that.
I don't understand beer pong. I've seen scenes of it on movies, but I've never understood the game. I didn't understand what was happening. And of course, the first thing that comes to my mind when people talk about, ping pong balls and ha ha hoo 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 is that scene in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
the notorious act from
Okay, so where's
Southeast Asia.
the stripper? Where's the beer? I'm confused.
Yeah,
Basically,
I
it's
would-
just a game of aim where you try to make the other team drink, but when you're doing it with alcohol that strong, ain't nobody got the coordination, and everyone's gonna puke.
yeah. Dangerous. Yes, Meglich, that's like Polish spirits in America. They call it Everclear. They have a 90-odd%. I think they call it
Mhm.
Everclear. Polish spiritus is another scary one. So good. But I remember my sister moved up to Queensland young ago, and she got married, went up to Queensland. I was only a teenager. My youngest brother, I think he was probably only about, I reckon he was only about 13 or maybe 14. Anyway, wedding reception. They're all drinking beer, right? And so he's running around. People kept leaving a little bit of beer in the glasses, and he's just running around going, ah. But it was Queensland, so they also had Bundaberg rum, which is basically the same color as beer when it's sitting. And he picked up this glass that he thought was a little bit of beer, and it was Bundaberg rum, and he went like, then he went, oh my God, what was that? And I said, that was rum. And he's going, cool. And then he just ran around. And he got really drunk, and he went from being wild, crazy drunk. Because in Queensland, they have these houses on stilts. There's the style's called the Queenslander. And this one house we had to go to, you go up the steps, and there's a door, and there's an open veranda. And I don't know, the door was locked, and no one knew who had the keys. And this open bit of the veranda was about a meter away, and we're also about 3 meters above the ground at this point. And so my drunk little brother goes, I can get there easy. And before anyone knew it, he just took 2 running steps and threw himself over the side. Lucky he did catch the edge of the veranda,
Oh,
slowly trying to pull himself up. And then someone found a key, and I think we went around and pulled him up. But he went from that wild, crazy, fun drunk to I'm sick, I'm going to die in about half an hour. It was like it's just like he drunk enough that it got through his system, and then he was sick, and he was like lying there die. I'm gonna die. And
I never drink rum again. Oh, Bucket, you're my best mate.
yeah. So you went from having fun to really sick in about half an hour. It's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, we have a drink like that in Trinidad, and it used to come with a warning label, and it was a true testament to the Trini philosophy of fuck it. It was a drink called Punchin', and on the bottle it said warning, not less than 75% alcohol.
Oof. Yeah.
They didn't know how much. Just knew at least 75% of this was gonna get you fucked up. We don't drink that shit. We use it as medicine. We use it to disinfect things.
Yeah, I've got my two strongest. I've got a 75% rum and 80% absinthe. So those are my two strongest ones.
So those will get you lit.
But yeah, it get pretty scary. You got to be careful. No.
This is an interesting combination of the Starward Old Fashioned and the Patient Wolf Blackberry.
Yeah. Okay.
And I put a little sugar in it because I always need things to be a bit more sweet.
Yeah.
A bit sweeter. And some soda water, and it's a really interesting taste, and I like it.
Yeah, no, that would be, because I did it with just the whiskey. I did with the Nova. So with the old fashioned, that's got the spices in it and the bitters. So that's going to be a whole different thing. That would be very interesting. Yeah. Nice.
It's helping me slur my words.
Yes. It does.
Enunciation's overrated.
Yeah.
I'm having an early Friday night, it seems.
Yeah. Speaking of Friday nights, our Friday night after all that, and when I went back through the city, I wanted to go. I thought, I hardly ever get into the city. I'm going to go to my favorite bar Americano. They were already closing down. They mustn't have had anyone there. I'm like, oh, damn, missed out. And I went around, and I was at a corner. I was going to go to the tram. I went, wait, that tiki bar was just there. I wonder if it's still open, because quite a few places closed down because of COVID. And I went there, and it was bouncing, like it was loud. Like we were an hour from lockdown, and it was just going off. And so I said, you got a seat? And they went, yep. And I just looked at their menu, and those all the traditional tiki ones. They had a zombie, and it was really quite expensive. And I went, and I'm just going to have the zombie. And I'm drinking it and going, there is so much rum in this. There is so it was like double cost. Yeah, it was double cost because it had twice as much alcohol as anything else in it. And it got me because I drank that and then left, and I got on a tram. And for the next hour, because I'd been sobering up when we went back into the city, and I had this. And for the next hour, I was getting progressively more drunk as the alcohol worked through my system. I'm on the tram going home, like, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. How much was in that drink? Oh, my God.
I remember being...
Is it on Johnson Street or close to it?
No, it's just off Swanston Street. Let's see. It's between Burke and Collins. So that makes it Little Collins Street, I think. So... It's in Little Collins Street. It's called the Luau, as in Luwow, Lu. Wow. And
let's go to that one next time.
Definitely. We do some city stuff. Yeah, why not? There's a few good places in the city. But yeah. Oh, Stella's heading on the road. Okay. Listening.
Take care, Stella.
Say goodbye. Wait. Sorry to leave you on your own. Going to bed in 5 minutes, Stella. But it's fun because, Charles, I don't know if you've worked out, Stella is in Western Australia, the other side of the country. It's literally 3 hours earlier there than it is here.
Yeah. It's the same thing with the East Coast and West Coast of Canada.
Yeah. So Stella's had a bit of a late night at work if she's only just going home now, but that happens. Yeah. It's funny. you say like East Coast, West Coast of continental America, and East Coast, West Coast here are about the same distance apart. Not exactly the same, but very roughly the same.
Yeah. Also, I remember one time going to a bar downtown Toronto, and it was a new bar, and the bartender was an American who came to Canada. And when Canadian bartenders aren't necessarily stingy, but they don't go overboard. This motherfucker was free pouring. I didn't know that.
American bars can be pretty wild like that.
Oh yeah.
Australian bars control quite strict responsible service of alcohol laws here, but in America, some of them are a bit wild with the free pouring.
If you ever want to get like absolutely fucked up and you want to be like a state where you don't expect to get like absolutely smashing, go to Pittsburgh, because that'll.
Okay.
Bartenders in Pittsburgh don't just free pour. They'll like they'll get like tricky with it, and they'll be like, I don't know what I'm fucking.
Oh, that's like Raiders and Kirsten talking about the Gin Palace. That would be a fun one to go to, Nettie. The Gin Palace in the city.
Yes, yes, it's a bit of a legend, that one. It's been around for a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I went to it when it was new.
Raiders was asking, "Is it still there?" And Kirsten's, "I was there on Friday night." It's just like, "Yep, still there."
Nice.
But yeah, two of the bars I liked in the city didn't make it through COVID. I was a bit depressed that two of my favorites, but there are so many good ones. they're all over the place. Oh my God, 21 years for the Gin Palace. God damn.
Yeah, I went there with a boyfriend in 99, pretty sure. Yeah.
That sounds about right, when it was new. Yeah. God
That
damn.
was expensive. We didn't have jobs.
Ooh. Yeah.
But we spent the money anyway.
Yeah. I remember my first time at the Gin Palace was actually only a couple of years ago. I was going to this online video festival, Melbourne Web Fest, and on final night was awards night, was in Fed Square. And so we had an hour or two drinking at the bar there. And then they're going, okay, now we've booked space at the Gin Palace for a couple of hours. So we rock on to the Gin Palace and we stayed there for a couple of hours. And then we went to, what's it called? But it's got like a 6 a.m. license. We went to this third venue because it was open till 6 a.m. It's like, oh my God, that was such a big night. Oh, Kirsten, the bars that didn't make it that I went to, Arlequin, which also did really nice toasted sandwiches late at night. So that's a bit disappointing that that's gone. And there was this Peruvian pisco place.
I want to try that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want to try pisco.
And closed. And I've even forgotten its name because it didn't have a Peruvian or pisco-oriented name. But it's closed now, and they also did really good food, so I was a bit disappointed by that.
It looks like Naked for Satan's still there.
Yes, I see them on Facebook all the time, so they're still there.
Yeah, I want to go there and I want to go specifically with my buddy from Sydney because we bonded watching the actual movie Naked for Forsaken. Yes, and the woman running around with her monoboob, and the big polystyrene spider that was supposedly eating this woman who's like, I'm so scared on the web.
Yeah. Also, a couple of my favorite restaurants that did nice cocktails that were always date night specials for me and Mrs. Angry. A couple of them didn't make it, which was really depressing. There was a Polish one called After the Tears, And
Oh, what a good name.
yeah, they have another one in Chapel Street called, I think, Borscht, Sweat and Tears. But this one was called After the Tears. They did good food and good drinks. And there was another one in Balaclava called Ilona Stoller. Sister restaurant to one in St Kilda called Cicciolina. Both named after Ilona Stoller was an Italian porn star in the 80s whose stage name was La Cicciolina, and she went into Parliament and became a politician.
Oh, I remember her.
They had two restaurants named after her. Her real name, Ilona Stoller, and her stage name, Cicciolina. So, and Cicciolina is still there, but Ilona Stoller closed down. So two of our main date night places closed down. That was pretty depressing. Oh, but see, I still haven't been, I've never been to Bad Frankie's. So I'm going to have to go to Bad Frankie's at some point. Raiders, where's the Arbory? I don't know that one. Sounds vaguely familiar, but Arbory, Melbourne. Flinders Walk. Oh, is that down on the river? Okay, that's why it's familiar. That's that. Yeah, I've been there, but it's always sort of chockers with people from offices. So well, yes, and you did mention the Imbu Cellar Door, Wander North. That's kind of too far away from me to use for date night because it's like a half-hour drive and can't be driving if I'm sort of imbibing at someone's cellar door. But yes. Geez, this was a very alcohol conversation heavy stream. I like it. It always varies what we talk about.
Substance use is good. Substance use should be encouraged, unless it's something.
Okay, so my ice did not show any signs of melting at all. So I'm going to have to put it back in the freezer because it will melt away by morning. So I'm going to try and remember to take it out while I'm working tomorrow, and I'll just sit it next to it. It's always funny when it finally comes out of one of these because it's like there's a little bit of suction, so it always makes this really borderline sort of pornographic slurping noise, just sort of. Oh, dear. All righty. Oh, Tiny's Bar and Bottle, the Tiny Bear Distillery. Oh, God, I'm going to have to check that out. If the Tiny Bear Distillery has a little bar project happening, I'm going to have to find a way to get to that too.
Kirsten, are you making plans for us?
She'd given us lots of ideas, that's so. Alan, you also went to Geelong to Anther. You did have a busy... I love how much you packed into 3 days. That's a lot of back and forthing. Anyway, my busy day, I'm going to go to bed now. So,
oh, it's bedtime.
It is. It's 10 o'clock. Sayonara, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Tomorrow.
Night all. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in, Charlie. Catch you another time.